less hot. Isn't that just cool? See, it's starting to make this curve up and this curve down. That's exactly what I want. It's almost the 100% correct shape. I gotta level it out, and then I'm gonna start profiling the edge. Yeah. I'm hitting in this kind of pattern that stretches the steel wherever a hammer is glancing. So just thought you should know. You can see how if I hammer too much in come on fuzz, on blur, you stupid. You can see how much if I hammer too much on one side, it starts to make it curved to that angle. That's why you gotta hit it real evenly on both sides. What I do is I work from the tip, go down, and then back, and then usually then I'm done. It's starting to curve the very tip up here. I don't know if I want to keep that. And I don't know where that notch came from. I'll have to fix that during the filing. Okay. My, doesn't that look pretty? See, it's a constant uphill battle to keep it from curving towards one side or the other. One technique is you just keep hitting the same spot in the anvil and you rotate the knife as you're hitting, so it's like bing 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 bing, but effectively you're going, yeah. I can't show you that because, well, one hand has to hold the camera. Yeah. I'm going to finish up this edge, and then I'm going to take the ball peen of the ball peen hammer. That's why it's called a ball peen hammer, because that's the peen. It's a ball shape. Anyway, and I'm going to pound some decorative divots into this, which will help straighten it up a bit and be decorative. I'll show you that in a bit. flattening it, I want a nice even heat across the whole thing. This step kind of requires patience. Don't know if you can see that, but making a bunch of little indents for decoration, mainly. Also, it helps cheese not stick. I'm gonna cut so much cheese. Look at that carp scale type pattern here. Well, it's not really a carp scale pattern because, you know, it would have to be in a set. This is more random, but you can see what I'm going for here. I'm gonna do it a bit more and then it's time for filing. I'm gonna go in before it gets dark. Weird things happen at night around here. Now that the blade has been roughly straightened and aligned, now begins a long, laborious process of filing every square inch of the piece to make sure it's perfectly flat. See you in a few hours. Ooh, windy today. Now, I've roughly sanded this side and not this side, so before, don't know how you can see that, before, after, before, after. Yeah, if this thing gets ruined only doing one side at a time for this before after thing, I blame you. I blame you. Okay, now you can see a slight flaw there. See that? That means I can't sell it if I can't buff that out, so this cost me money. But yeah. Now, take note. Notice how when I first started, it was a very rough, sharp angled bevel. Now, notice that when I filed it, it became a less rough bevel. It's just a swoop. And now that I sanded it, it's a nice, straight, smooth smooth, the word escapes me, curve, whatever, to the edge. This I want in a chef's knife because it'll be nice and smooth and not too stick to the food type. So yeah, you can see the difference in the angles, I think. Yeah. This side's rounded. This side's smooth. Taper, yeah. That's the word I was trying to think of. Also, notice how I'm beveling the overall thing. It's slightly heavier towards the front end, right here, than it is towards the back end. This will give it more weight when chopping things. And the edge picks up right at the end here. And yeah, so it kind of has a slight rock to it. I did that on purpose. I purposely ground away that with an angle grinder just to make sure that it would do that. So yeah, you can see how it's just slowly progressing into the final shape. So yeah. Nine hours of filing and 3 to 4 hours of sanding, and we got this. yeah, this is just a temporary sand to make sure everything's nice and shored up so that everything's level, so that it doesn't warp during the heat treating process. I could make it flatter. I could definitely make it a lot flatter, but because of that little forge flaw right there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, that little forge flaw right there, I can't sell it, so I might as well just do it rough. This would be a lot easier if I didn't do these little decorative dent things, but I've been wanting to do those for a very long time, and a chef's knife was the perfect time to do it. You can see I cut this thing a little shorter here. I took off this little nub because I don't need that much of a handle length, but it's nice to have when you know, handling it. And by the way, for sandpaper, I just used 80 grit taped onto a painter's stick that I broke in half. It's very efficient. So now we're going to heat the handle, and then we're going to burn a piece of wood onto it so it fits exactly. Neat. Fire. I forget what type of wood this is. Just call it fancy wood. Not the best hole, but I want it to be oval shaped anyway. Getting there. What a fairly cheap handle made out of a fairly expensive wood. Chop. Now that that's done, I'm going to take this thing, heat it up to a nice temperature, and normalize the steel a few times. Then I'm going to take it up to a critical temperature. You know, when a magnet doesn't stick to it. I got a little magnet right here that I use for that. And then that's when you quench it, and that's how you get it as hard as possible. Yeah. There you go. One heat treated knife. Now I just gotta let the oil cool down, and I'll just clean that off and then do some sanding, and then we get to annealing. Yay. For heat treating larger knives, I like to use the self-clean function on the oven. It's basically the same thing as a professional heat treating kiln. So yeah, also have a pot roast ready in a slow cooker because no one will be able to use the oven. And since I'm basically the cook around here, yeah. Pot roasted knives, gotta love it. Knife still cooking. Pot roast is done though. But this show isn't about the pot roast. It's about the knife. The knife. Not the pot roast cooked in its own juices with carrots, onions, and potatoes. The knife. Stare at the knife. Finally, a nice day to record that I don't have to wear a coat and or a scarf made out of an old t-shirt. Trust me when I tell you that this thing is sharp. And then I cut. You can see I sharpened it up, polished it, and put the handle on. Those are my proprietary trade secrets. It had nothing to do with me forgetting to record that part. Nope. Yeah. And when I say this thing is razor sharp, I literally mean this thing is razor sharp. In fact, have a look. Good enough. Don't try this at home. Now, for the ultimate point of why we're all here. Chopping things up! Now, I know you probably can't see this, but the acid from the pineapple has actually revealed the microstructure of the steel. Neat. salad. Because the knife is so sharp, it doesn't damage the fibers that much, and there's no tears with these onions. About as thick as my arm, so let's test it. After all that cutting, you can start to see the acid eat away at the finely polished metal on the blade, but let's just see how good. Obligatory paper test. Real thin paper. Chef's knife. As always, Tonberry approved. And tested. Doink.